The reason why it's called the next mutation, I found out, is because each of the turtles were going to get special powers. I can't remember what they all were.
But it was going to be cool.
But all I remember is that Donnie was supposed to have, like, he was supposed to be like a techno...
Morph?
Yeah, and like he could control technology and...
Oh, technopathy.
Technopath. And, he and I saw, like drawings and stuff of what they were going to look like. And they looked pretty cool. And I think that would have made a much more interesting story. And one of the reasons why I hate Next Mutation is just because they fuck up the culture. They fuse Chinese and Japanese culture, and it doesn't make any sense for anyone who knows anything about it.
Alright, getting back to, in my opinion, the weirdest of all of them, Beetleborgs. I'm going to explain this very quickly, because it's that fucking weird. Alright, so it's pretty much a Power Rangers ripoff, but instead of going with teenagers, I'm pretty sure they're all like 12 in this series. And they are controlled by a ghost that looks eerily similar to Leno, known as the Flapper, I want to say. Something like that. We call him the Fapper. That's like our running joke for him. He's just a creepy dude. He's got an organ and a bunch of like the same girl. And it's just really weird, and they can turn into bug-themed Power Rangers. And they fight like Universal's monsters, like the Wolfman and Frankenstein and Dracula, and then you also have like the generic monsters, and it's very much a Power Ranger ripoff, but I enjoy it so much more because it's so shitty. It is like the worst thing ever. Like, I don't know if you people out there know what the Asylum movies are, but it's like, when we had Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, they put out like the zombie killing one that's like a low budget ripoff, or they put out the Snow Queen when Frozen came out. Like all this stuff, try to get like a quick buck off of stupid people that don't know the difference. That's what Beetleborgs feels like to me. Like they're the predecessor of all that. It's just like a very shitty version of Power Rangers, but it's like it's so bad it's kind of funny to watch.
Yeah.
But all right. So you were saying going back to the big daddies of American cartoons.
Let's
Want to go through the Disney ones, or?
I'm trying to think. Let's go to Warner Brothers, just because I think we should go that Disney Nickelodeon.
Alright, you had a bunch of superhero shows that came out in there. You had... I'm trying to remember who actually showed them. I think it was Fox, right? They showed the Marvel ones?
Yeah, they showed a lot of the Marvel ones. That was Fox. That was Fox.
X-Men, Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man Unlimited, right? That's what it was called. And Spider-Man Unlimited was just too fucking weird and didn't end up going anywhere, but the first series was pretty cool. Yeah. Both of them really good. On the Warner Brothers side, you had The Adventures of Superman and Batman the Animated Series.
Which we will get into in a little bit. Which will get its own little...
And they were both very good. I mean, I know a lot of people have very mixed feelings on Superman, but I thought it was a really fun show. And of course, they built towards the Justice League, which was fucking
phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah.
Like, it just took that art and that writing and just brought it to a whole new level and just nailed it.
Well, actually, we missed one other series. Static Shock. Really cool shit.
Oh, absolutely. I think that came in the later... was it early 2000s?
I think so. I think Static came out before the Justice League, though. I might be wrong.
Maybe it came out at around the same time.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, when because the Justice League actually have a cameo in one of the Static Shock episodes.
Yeah.
So I know they were at least running together, but I think Static's first episodes came out before they built towards the Justice League series.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they did have, like, he fought alongside Batman a lot of times.
Oh, that's another one we missed. Batman Beyond. Like,
holy shit.
Visually stunning Warner Brothers cartoon at the time. Very dark, very cool. I mean, very awesome for a kid's cartoon. It was very dark.
Yeah.
They dealt with drug abuse and...
It was just an amazing show. They even, because that was in the same universe as the Batman and Superman stuff, there was an episode of Justice League Unlimited, where Terry, they want Terry to join the Justice League.
You get the end of Batman Beyond in the Justice League, which was really cool.
And you get, they talk about, And like he talks with Amanda Waller, and I don't want to spoil it if you guys haven't seen it. It was such. There were the episodes. If any of you have seen Justice League Unlimited, the episode about Ace, and not the Bat Hound. I'm talking about the little girl, Ace.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that episode, it'll fucking tug at your heartstrings, hardcore. Like it is like so different. Like it just throws it out there, and it goddamn. Those were just some of the best examples of 90s cartoons.
Yeah, I'd even go so far as to say there wouldn't be a Marvel Cinematic Universe if DC hadn't built the cartoon cinematic universe where they had all these characters. Granted, I'm pretty sure by the time Justice League rolled around, they had wrapped up Batman the Animated Series. I think Superman was still going, though, I think. But I think it was also it was struggling.
Yeah. Batman the Animated Series went on to the Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, which is a little step down, but not horrible. So
yeah, the cartoon, like the animation was weird. Like some of the characters looked amazing in the first one, and like Catwoman is a good example.
She turned green.
She turned really skinny, and her skin was green.
Yeah, like the animation just went way downhill.
It was weird, but
some of the other good shows on the WB, I wasn't a huge fan of them, but I think Chudge is. The Animaniacs.
Oh man, the Steven Spielberg cartoons, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, and by extension Pinky and the Brain. I loved them. I thought they were awesome cartoons. They dealt with a lot of like hidden issues that were didn't really feel like you were learning a lesson, but at the same time they were there. Not Animaniacs so much, but Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons had a lot of really good episodes.
But Animaniacs are fucking crazy. It just still blows my mind that they were able to make a cartoon kids parody out of Goodfellas. When I was a kid, I didn't believe them. Like when somebody told me that, I'm like, you're fucking lying. I just couldn't believe that they would do that, or they could do that, and they could get away with doing that, and that it worked. It was just so crazy, but I loved those shows, man. Like, it was just so weird, and I've always liked stuff like that.
You also had, I think WB was the first one to really get into 3D cartoons. You had Reboot and Cubic,
yeah,
whatever the hell his name was. Which I wasn't a fan of either show, but it was kind of cool just to see him, like, visually. I'm trying to think of what else was on WB that was particularly really fun.
Oh, Fox, dude, totally forgot about Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
About the
Beast Machines and or Beast Wars and the Beast Machines.
Yeah, I think they started showing Beast Wars on when Cartoon Network was really early on. But I can't remember what channel I first saw Beast Wars on. It must have been Fox.
There are a few other lesser shows on there. Flint the Time Detective.
Boonga, boonga, boonga.
Which just got canceled right in the middle of a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Oh, God. One of the most interesting villains of all time. Her boss definitely gave her that uniform and was like, if you ever take this off, you're fired.
What else? You had Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century, which was just a weird show. Shout out to Tommy, because I know he likes that show.
Oh, another random anime that was on Moncoli Nights. I don't remember too much about that show. I don't remember what it was about. All I remember is I really liked it. I thought it was cool. I want to check up on that. I can't even remember what the premise of that was. Did they hunt monsters? Did they collect something? Did they have to go find something and whatever? I don't remember. I just remember it was a cool show.
In the 90s, you had Yu-Gi-Oh! Starting up, which became huge for him. And I was really into it. Not so much anymore, but that was a really good series going forward. I don't know what else.
Gotta go back on the WB. I don't think this was 90s. I think this was early 2000s, but it still kind of fits into our generation somewhat. The Shaolin Showdown.
Yeah. Jack Spicer.
I think it was cool. All all the main 4 characters were of different racial backgrounds, which I thought was really cool. All had different conflicting personalities. They dealt with a lot of weird shit. Raymundo going over to the dark side at the end of the first fucking season.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. Like, they did shit that nobody did before.
What was it? Clay, Kimiko, what was the main kid?
Omi.
Oh yeah, Omi.
And Raymundo. And the characters are really cool. I like the whole thing with the Xiaolin items.
Yeah, items that give you superpowers. Oh, speaking of items that give you superpowers, Jackie Chan Adventures. That was an amazing show.
I think that's also early 2000s, but we gotta let it slide because that was an awesome show.
Like, the background's just done so shittily. But, like...
It was a fun-ass show. Up until, like, the last season where that was dumb and bullshit, but... The first few seasons of that were fun, awesome. It was just a cool premise.
The talismans all giving you superpowers, and then breaking the inner balance talisman to create 2 versions of you. Like, a lot of cool stuff. I love the segments at the end. Ask Jackie.
Yeah. And it was so cool that, Jackie Chan was able to do something with that, and it was different. Like, it was just one of those things that really wasn't done before. It just felt like, because we've had celebrity-done cartoons, a lot of them in the 80s, and then in the 90s we didn't really have too many of them, as far as I can remember, because most of them were really bad.
I don't think you really could have made a show with any other celebrity like that. Like, you couldn't have done, like, Arnold's Commandos. Or, like, Punching with Rocky. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody else could have done that. Like, who had that connection with a younger audience where they, like, oh, I want to see what Jackie Chan's doing.
I mean, and the fact that, it was a lot of, the fighting was really good because it's all based on real martial arts. And just the Chinese culture that they used along with it, that they kind of
yeah,
sprinkled in there. Even with the other characters, because you had El Toro, never removes his mask, was, it was just a cool show, man.
Toru. Japanese.
I love the fact that they made him a good guy and they just threw him in there. Like,
big shout out to Julian Sands too. Valmont.
Yeah. Oh god.
Probably my favorite villain of any of those kind of cartoons. Why am I wearing a dress? It's a sorcerer's gown.
I remember when you met Shendu's like brothers and demon brothers. They all represented different shit. What did they represent? I can't even fucking remember.
I don't remember. I just remember they'd have like really ridiculous ways of defeating them.
Yeah, they all had different like natural abilities, I think.
Yeah, I think so. One could fly, one controlled the earth.
Yeah, there was like a frog that controlled wind.
But yeah.
And they all like Shendu was supposed to be like this crazy evil, like, and then he was just like the one that they shit on.
He's like a little worm in his normal form, but like when he comes to Earth, he's like some big beefy Trogdor looking guy. But alright, let's look towards wrapping this up a little bit. Moving on to the Disney ones. You had DuckTales, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop. I mean, all of it's really good shows.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Very good. Bonkers.
Oh god, Bonkers, that was a good one. Like, it's like the one thing with Nickelodeon and Disney, it's hard to say any of these were bad.
Yeah,
they were all very enjoyable. Gummy Bears, so I think that and DuckTales started in the late 80s, but they kept going.
I never really too much into Gummy Bears, but all the other ones.
I have a little joke that my friends David and Josh... Yeah, my other friend David. Not to be confused with the Dave. He, because I made a comment about the Gummy Bears. It's not that I didn't like the Gummy Bears, it's that I mentioned that the theme song could get annoying after a while because just how like they gummy bears just like that. And so like what they would do is like whenever I slept over one of their houses or something, they would crank up magic and mystery, you know, and just I'm like, you assholes, like while I was sleeping. And that's how they would wake me up. And that's a little inside joke that they always did. And I'm a good sport, and I thought it was funny because it's so absurd. But,
keep it on Disney, we gotta talk about all the animated movie spin-off television shows.
Oh, yeah. Okay, first and foremost, I'm trying to think. Winnie the Pooh came out in the late 80s.
Mermaid?
Little Mermaid was good.
Lion King?
For what it was. I loved the Timon and Pumbaa. I think it was different enough where it just had those two characters. And what the cool thing about that one is that the real premise of the show was just them going all over the world to different locations each episode to find bugs in that particular area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then, like, they would get into shenanigans. Like, one of my favorite episodes is where they meet their newfound friend, Speedy the Snail. And, like, he can talk and sing, so they can't bring themselves to eat him. So they immediately make him their new best friend. And as soon as they do that, they end up in France. And they have to stop Culinary Quint from eating him. And that's another thing. The Quint thing, like that one character showing up, like randomly, and they always had like alliteration to go on with his name, which was really funny. And then of course they had, and every time you saw the episodes, there would be the one section with Timon and Pumbaa, and then the last two, it would be sandwiched. They'd have Timon and Pumbaa on the ends, and in the middle you would have the hyenas, Zazu, or Rafiki. And like they would have like a short in the middle. And those are actually pretty interesting. I always like the hyena ones myself.
Moving on, 101 Dalmatians, and I think also 102 Dalmatians. I think even the sequel movie had one.
I don't remember. I remember 101 Dalmatians. I remembered not thinking I was going to like it, but...
So I think 102 Dalmatians had like really shitty animation.
Yeah, I don't think it lasted very long, that's why I don't remember it, but... I remember there was a chicken named Spot, and she was like the fourth main character.
Yeah. It was a very weird show. I don't really know what it had to do with the movie, but...
It didn't really. It was just lucky.
What was Hercules?
Oh yeah, Hercules. It was when he was a kid.
Was that the end of the 90s?
Yeah, it was... No, it was like mid-90s
97.
because it had a crossover with the next big one, which was probably the best overall of the Disney animated movies to cartoon, was Aladdin.
Yeah, Aladdin was really good. I think Aladdin probably had the best universe to build one up outside of Hercules.
Yeah, all that mythology and...
But Hercules kind of got saddled with like a lot of characters that aren't in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Hercules have another girlfriend in the show?
No, it was just a friend that she had who was like Icarus's love interest.
It's been a while since I've seen the Hercules.
She was like a passive-aggressive feminist or some stupid bullshit. Not that feminism is bullshit. I don't want to get a shit ton of hate mail.
But yeah, that was like her character's deal. Like that was a thing. Moving out of kids shows, well, I guess we can do. We have one on Nickelodeon. A lot of good Nickelodeon. Rugrats, Doug, probably the two best ones. I don't think.
Yeah, Disney kind of ruined it. But
I forgot Disney got Doug and then just like shit directly onto it. Not a big fan of it.
And then they made a movie, which...
There's a Doug movie?
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
You don't need to.
It's that good, eh?
It's not... I remember as a kid, I didn't hate it. They find a monster in Lucky Duck Lake. And so the whole movie is just Skeeter and Doug just like fucking around with it.
But, any other...
Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Cartoons that nobody fucking talks about, which we should probably get into later. I just wanted to bring that up, but
I was gonna bring up some random Nicktoon ones. All Real Monsters.
Yeah, we could just list Nickelodeon cartoons. Like, up into the late 90s, they were all really good. But, like, anything after SpongeBob, I think, could be put into review. Because they just weren't that good, and they're just not as memorable.
Yeah. I mean,